Shalom. All praise and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kakadash. Double honors to the elder apostle Great Millstone. Citations to Walking Teach All Truth and Sincerity. Um um and also salutations to the Aqua, the women who are obedient to their husbands and who are loyal to their husbands and are obedient to his every instruction and are following their husband's leads to the best of their ability. Um, this video is gonna be called "It's Not a Woman's Place to Be Out There on the streets teaching." Um, because men, um, the flock of the flock of the Lord's pasture are men. It's not women. It talks about that in Ezekiel, I believe. It's either the 31st chapter, because I sometimes gets that mixed up. It's either the 31st chapter or um it's I believe I know it's in the 30 verses, the 30th or the 31st or the 32nd or 33rd or the 34th chapter. It's one of those chapters that has the the Bible precept where it says the flock of the Lord's pasture are men, not women. Even though the scriptures do talk about the elect lady, there are women that are going to be saved, um, to be delivered into the chariots who are going to be Israelite women, but it's not because they were teaching out on the highways and byways. You know, they just were predestined to be saved. You know, selected by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to be the mothers of the children that are gonna come back, who the 2/3, they're gonna be a mother of the 2/3 that perish on this side, who are gonna come back in the kingdom as the children of the elect. They were just pre-selected for childbearing. That's the reason why they're gonna be saved, to be saved for childbearing. But anyway, I'm gonna read. This is First Corinthians chapter 14 verse. I'm gonna start at verse 33. It says, "For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints." It says, "Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law." Because women are not supposed to be very vocal, amongst the congregation of the church, you know, um, you know, because they're not supposed to be teaching, you know, they're not supposed to usurp authority over men. Um, you know, if they have a husband, which I'm continue reading, they need to learn from their husband at home, because it's really a shame for them to come before the congregation and try to you know boast their, well, to uh, come and speak out of turn amongst the congregation, of the Israel. um and the common board is also considered the church, um not just the street corners, but the common board also, um you know b- pertaining to certain topics. you know she's supposed to keep silence even amongst the common board, if depending on the topic. The scriptures say a woman can teach, but she can teach, young children, young women, how to conduct themselves within uh, Israel, and how to properly, you know, conduct yourself as a lady, conduct yourself as a wife, as a woman of Israel. Um, I'm gonna read verse 35. It says, "And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church." I'm gonna go to First Timothy, uh, chapter 2 and verse 11. This is First Timothy chapter 2 verse 11. It says, "Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Um, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, not then Eve." Because Adam, he was what's the word? Given the understanding first, then Eve. Um, Yahweh Bashin Yashar dealt with Adam first, then Eve. Then, then Adam taught Eve, what he understood, from Yahweh Bashin Yashar. Um, it says, "And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgressions." It says, "Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety." Because she can teach the young women, um, you know, because Sarah called Abraham Lord, and a lot of women, especially Israelite women, they're not gonna call a man of the Lord, um, like our foremother Sarah called Abraham Lord, Um, but I'm gonna go to Titus chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, Titus chapter 2 verse 3. It says, "The aged woman likewise that um aged woman likewise that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not given to much to okay, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, um, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed." Yeah, because you teach the young women to be discreet, to be chaste, the keepers of the house, good, obedient to their own husbands, which means following his lead, being obedient to his authority, um, you know, showing example, of a elderly woman who has a husband, and showing the example to the young women how to carry yourselves as a woman who has a husband, or who's an elderly woman who has a husband, that she is, obedient to and follow his authority and his lead and his program. That's what you teach, and show to the young women on how to conduct themselves as a wife and as a woman who has a husband. um I'm gonna go to Genesis, because men have been given the authority over the women, because when Eve brought uh the philosophies of the other nations to Adam, and gave him the fruit of lies, and they indulged in those philosophies and fruit of lies of the heathen. um the authority of of of, of the of the man was given authority over the woman, and the woman was what's the word, given the pain of childbirth. um that was her punishment. But uh but men are the head over the woman, which I'm also going to get that. So this is Genesis. Lucky. This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. It says, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee." And that was a part of the punishment, you know, because when Adam and Eve sinned, a part of the pain that Eve and but not just Eve, but all women experience is painful childbirth. When you have a baby, pain comes with having a baby, but men have been given the authority over the woman, which it talks about that in um this is First Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3. It says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh." So the head of women are the men. The men of each family. You are the head of the women of that family. No matter if the woman is an elder woman over you, you still are the head of that family. Because I'm a head of over my family. Um, being a part of this truth. In the spirit, I am considered uh, a head over my family, over my you know even though my dad, he is a head over my mom, but when it comes to the ministry, which my dad is not a part of the truth, I would be considered an elder over my father. Not to boast that. I'm just saying, if you really, you know, if you understand the order of things, um, because I am, part of this truth, and you know, and my dad is not a part of the. He's not in this truth like I am. So, but you know, like back in ancient times, kings would be heads over their entire family. They'd be the head of their entire family, and they'd be over every woman in their entire family, including elderly women in their entire family. It's the same way, um, you know, when it comes to order and positions, you know, uh, within the truth. Uh, an elderly man can have a younger brother over him in the spirit. Anyway, I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna say all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahshua Bashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, and citations to you all can teach all true sincerity and shalom.